So I'm going to give you a tour of the body mounts for these trucks. The first thing you need to do to get the body off is use this tab right here that's between the servo and the bumper, and you're going to push that forward. Okay, you just simply push it forward and it'll unlatch itself from the servo mount. That's how that works. And then to reattach it, you just push it back down and it'll clip back on. So push this in, and then you can usually just do that by putting your hand underneath. And then you're going to lift the front end up over the servo. It kind of catches on the servo, depends on the kind of servo you have. Once it gets up there, that's as high as you have to go. And then you push the body backwards to take the back pins off. I usually put my hand underneath and then kind of push the body over the bumper like this. Just kind of curl it, push it over the bumper. I mean, it comes off really easily, but that's how it's done. It just slides backwards about a ½ inch and it comes off the pins at the back. So let's take a quick look at how the printed work is attached. So on the sliders, there's 2 screws right here on the sliders. These are going to go directly into the frame rail from this outside. These screws, which in the kit are too long, they poke out of the frame on the inside, and the reason they do that is because they actually clip in to a socket right there on the skid. See that little socket? There's like a ½ moon right there. That's the socket for the skid. So what you're doing is you're going to put the skid on, you back the screws out a few turns for the 4 links, put the skid in place, put the screws back in, and they actually go through the frame and catch onto those ½ moons there. So that's how that's done. They're all on, the skid will be on. And then I made up these little flat plates of black styrene and screwed them into the cross member so that there was an attachment for the wire loom, because I didn't want to see them from the bottom. The inner fenders are very much like the side skids. There's 2 screws that attach directly into the frame. They screw right into frame holes, so that's the front fenders. And then we're going to go to the bodywork. So on the bodywork, there's a bunch of pieces that you need to put in so that you can cover the rear inner fenders and the wiring. And they go right here. There's 4 places. That's a nice view of it right there. So there's a big long flat piece right there that actually sits on top of the frame, and they're straight. Thankfully there's straight milling lines on the mold on the bottom of the body, so you can just put this piece in. It fits in just inside. You'll see it. It sits right in this corner. There's a big body post right there, and the one slide here, it doesn't matter which way they go in, left or right or up or down. This one sits on the floor, horizontal, and right in the corner of that post. The other one attaches to the inside of it and goes straight down the back. So it sits right on the frame here. And they're nice and wide, so if they're not totally straight, it doesn't matter. But what they do is they give you that fender coverage inside here. That's what those are for. Now, there's 2 other sockets that you need to attach in the back. These are the actual pin sockets, and they're labeled on the print with CMAX2 JKu right and left. You'll see them, they're labeled right and left. And what you're going to do is glue these in to the body, flat on the bottom. Okay, you can see the socket here. There's where the socket slides. It has a ramp that goes towards the bottom of the vehicle. That's the ramp that hooks into the screw at the back. So this is flat on the back. That's super important. And on mine, I glued them in. I use CA glue on all of this stuff because it's much more rigid than CHU or E6000, and it does a better body mount. So I just simply scraped off the paint that was on the original mold. I glued these in with CA, and then I took a flat file and went over the back of it and just shaved it flat like this. I just flat filed the back of it. so that it's completely flat and it won't hook on the bumper when you're trying to slide the body off backwards. The last thing you need to put into the bodywork is the front clip. The front clip is right here. There's the front clip. And you can see the construction of it here. It's got a giant hook on it. And it glues in centered on the body. I use CA again. Centered on the body. And it sits directly on the radiator bracket. So there is a removable part for the radiator. You don't have to glue it to that bracket, but it sits directly on the bracket. Right on it. It hangs down below the main body here. And it's centered on the slots. That's how that works. And then what you end up with is a perfect body mount set. On the back, the frame on the JK is 28 millimeters shorter than it is on the rest of the frame sets because of the low overhang on the back. So what you've got here is a long screw that sticks out about 10 millimeters right here, and it goes through the frame right here, through the bumper adapter, and then it just sticks out right there, one on each side. Those are the rear body mount clips that's put into the two slides. So then this thing just goes right back on the same way it came off, just enough height to get over the servo in the front, and then you can rest the body on the back bumper and just push it forward, and it clips right in at the back. And then I usually just grab the front and lift it forward just slightly, push it down, it clips right on the bottom of the servo mount. That's it. That's the whole thing. And you can check there that you've got it sitting square in case one pin is not in or something. And there you go. That's the setup for the JK body mounts.